believe that the body is the prison of the soul. That is why if you are attracted by a lot of sleep, always sleeping, you will never get your soul floated. If you are attracted by beautiful girls who are not your wife, and then you are just like that, you will never get your soul floated. If you are attracted by looks, just eating, drinking, going to the entertainment that has no benefits in you, then you are being pulled from time to time, so much so that you will become like any animal. And that's what the Quran says. They are just like animal, or even animal is better than them, because they have faculties that they use: the ears, the eyes, the heart, that should have been used to acquire piety, to acquire floating to Allah. They don't use it, they are being pulled down. But if you now suppress that by preventing yourself from a lot of sleep, just try that day by day. You cut your sleep at night. That's what we call tahajjud. You cut your sleep at night, and then you pray 2 rak'ah, you go back to sleep. If you experience that for 3 months, you see yourself developing. So you can see Ramadan, it will help you now suppress the demands of the soil, the demands of the earth, to allow you float. This is the way that you have a spiritual development through Ramadan, by suppressing the demands of the body and allowing the soul to float.
It is noted that, or it is the fact that Ramadan is the period of revelation in the early days of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That revelations came to the Holy Prophet during the month of Ramadan. A notable place, of course, when I visited the Holy Land, leaving Mina back to Mecca, I was shown this huge mountain, which looks like a camel itself. When you look at the Jabal al-Nur, it's beautiful, it's a masterpiece. And someone intimated to me that this is known as the Mountain of Light, Jabal al-Nur. This is where the Holy Prophet got most of the revelations, some of the revelations of the Holy Quran. Can you expand on that?
Thank you. Like, that has to do with the Islamic history from the beginning. See, the Prophet ﷺ got revelation when he was 40. But months before, he started having some dreams, about 6 months. And that's why they say dreams is part of the prophethood or prophecy. He was so disturbed by the social ills that were rampant in the Arab society, and he could not do anything to change it. Idolatry, disrespect for women, tribalism, not a primitive concept of God. He just could not swallow it anymore. What he had to do is to isolate himself. And it's a lesson that we all should emulate all the time. If you are living in a society where you can no longer change, and being there will adversely change you, then you better revisit your program and go in seclusion. The Prophet ﷺ now started going to that cave called Cave Hira in that mountain. The reason why it is called Nur, because Nur came, the light. Jibril was sent directly to come with Iqra, read in the name of your Lord. So the Prophet ﷺ used to go in seclusion and meditate. And that's also very important, and the mystical orders has also, they have learned that form of seclusion and meditation from the Prophet, because that is the time when you have an inner word looking. Our problem, Mike, is that sometimes we waste our time looking outward, criticizing people. Look at the way this gentleman puts his dress. Look at the way he dressed. Look at the way she. My friend, look inward. Your shortcomings, your problems, your defects will occupy much of your thinking. So seclusion and meditation will help you involve in monologue, taking accountability of yourself. What have I done wrong? So this is what the Prophet ﷺ went, also expecting that something will come out of that. And then he used to go to Mountain Hira until very late. He would come back to the wife. The wife was starting getting worried. But this is where the cave under the mountain, which is beautiful, and people still going during Hajj. And he did that until after 6 months, when that angel came, Jibril, with the message from Allah with the letter and said, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Read in the name of thy Lord. Alladhi Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq khalaqa al-insana min alaq iqra wa rabbaka. So this is the nur that came, because people used to live in darkness. You see, because there are two things, light and darkness. But darkness does not exist. Darkness is nothing but the absence of light. When light comes, darkness will disappear. So when Allah sent the light, Iqra as the light, then darkness started to disappear from that mountain and also from Mecca, and that also created some kind of havoc for the people of darkness, and they started fighting against the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But that is definitely the mountain, and there is the cave where he started receiving revelation, which is equate to what we call Nur, the light.
Doctor, you mentioned idol worshipping and other forms of reckless living among the people at the time of the Holy Prophet. But pre the Holy Prophet's arrival, prophets were also sent to mankind, especially in that vast area which is so turbulent nowadays, the Middle East. And but the word of those prophets were never heeded too.
No.
Noah came, Moses came, all the other prophets came, but they never heeded too. In modern, I wanted us to juxtapose idol worshipping of old and today what I see, because Allah said that they shall do not ascribe partners unto me. Allah is one, and this is very well explained in Surah Al-Ikhlas.
قل هو الله أحد
Allah Samad.
لم يلد ولم يولد
ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Very well, but in present day, mankind doesn't have that literal object to worship. But mankind reverts to other forms of trying to know the unknown by going to other areas, like we call it here locally Jalang and things like that. Let us juxtapose idol worshipping of the old and the present day Jalang.
Thank you very much. You see, Islam is a religion that tells us to connect to the metaphysical reality. That is why Allah sent about 124,000 prophets. As you have said, there are many prophets. When you read the Musnad of Al-Ahmad, Allah sent 124,000 prophets.